I'm Richard Cuff of Allentown, Pennsylvania. You're tuned to the International Radio Report. 30 minutes of news about radio on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
Welcome, everyone, to the International Radio Report for Sunday, October the 26th, 2025. My name's Sheldon. I'm here with Jill, and we thank you for tuning in to our show. We have 30 minutes of news and information for you on things going on in the world of radio, some local material, national material, and a few international things for you as well. We are going to start off today's show with a bit of breaking news, courtesy of one of our regular listeners, Normand Martel. Gilles, you have that story from the Montreal local radio scene.
Yeah, this comes from Le Journal de Montréal. And what is happening is that we talked about it a few months back where Bell went against the 99.5 station that is broadcasting Cube Radio for a certain number of hours a day. The CRTC has decided that, no, there's no problem with that. They are following the rules. The number of hours of talk radio from Cube Radio, which is an online streaming service, there's no problem there. And they're saying, even though Québécois that owns Cube Radio, it doesn't infringe on any rules that they are broadcasting Cube Radio through a company that is Leclerc Communication that owns the station. So it's all fine. There's no problem there. And that they can continue broadcasting on a station that used to be weekend on 99.5. So we know that the ratings are not very high. So I don't know if it's going to change anything. But yep, that is going to continue. They have been approved and everything's all right.
I guess the 98.5 news station and Radio-Canada's predominantly news talk and what have you, probably not going to be happy with that decision. But like you said, they haven't really had a major impact on ratings on those stations up to this point. So probably won't make a huge difference. Now you have some update from Tesla and the not this time, not only the AM radio problems, but it looks like it's going to affect FM as well. Yeah,
we've been talking a lot about AM radio in cars and all of that. Well, Tesla tunes out AM FM in the 2026 standard models. So this is by Nick Langan of Radioworld. Tesla's 2026 entry-level Model Y standard and Model 3 standard trims will not come with either an AM or FM radio. Motor Trend first reported the loss of a terrestrial-based tuner in the electric vehicles, which are two of the four trims it offers, along with its Cybertruck. We had seen that there would be less powerful radio option, but we weren't expecting the loss of a terrestrial radio connection in the standard trim's content. Most Tesla models, starting with the 2020 Model 3, have not come equipped with an AM radio, which is part of the impetus for the proposed AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act legislation. But eliminating FM2 in base models is new. According to Radio Inc., this move makes Tesla the first mainstream auto brand to cut out over-the-air radio entirely. Grace Whaley, Senior Manager for Communications and Social Media for the National Association of Broadcasters, told Radioworld, removing broadcast radio from vehicles is a disservice to millions of drivers who rely on these stations for trusted news, community connection, and emergency alerts. The removal of a terrestrial tuner comes despite Edison Research's most recent Share of Ear report that surveyed auto brand drivers. Its research concluded that 51% of Tesla drivers spend time listening to AM/FM radio, making it the most listened to audio platform. Tesla announced the features of the models on October 7th. The standard connectivity package in a Tesla comes equipped with Bluetooth so that drivers can pair content from their mobile devices. Premium connectivity for $9.99 a month allows access to Tesla's built-in cellular connectivity to play music through its native apps. So that's a big one because it only takes one to start removing everything AM/FM to have the other ones thinking, well, maybe we should do the same. So this is a dangerous game here. I hope that the AM for Every Vehicle Act, if it can pass, will force them to put everything back in.
Yeah, are they gonna have to come up with with an FM act to match it? This is it's like Tesla's decided. Well, yeah, they were telling us about AM, but nobody mentioned anything about FM. So maybe we'll take both out and see what happens. Yeah, it's rather shocking that they would be doing this, particularly with those statistics that Edison Research came up with, that even the Tesla owners were spending a lot of their time listening to radio. They found a way to get more money out of people too. $9.99 a month for a special service, premium connectivity. It does all come down to the dollar at the end, doesn't it?
Yep.
We'll see what happens with that. And like you said, there may be reaction from other car manufacturers as well. Nick Langan of Radioworld supplies us with another story. The National Association's 2025 Marconi Radio Award winners have been unveiled. The NAB Marconi Awards honor the finest radio has to offer in front of a standing room only crowd at the Edison Ballroom on the night before the start of the NAB Show New York. 2025 was a banner year for Philadelphia's active rocker station, 93.3 WMMR, the legendary Station of the Year winner. Its longtime morning hosts Preston and Steve won the Major Market Personality of the Year award, while the Beasley Media Station also brings back down the New Jersey Turnpike, the Major Market Station of the Year honor. Also among the honorees is Nick Martin of Big River Broadcasting in Florence, Alabama, the 2025 Legendary Radio Manager of the Year. Marconi finalists are selected by a committee of broadcasters, and the winners were determined by the NAB Marconi Radio Awards Selection Academy. The event was hosted by Danielle Monaro and Meda Gandhi, co-hosts of Elvis Duran and The Morning Show, and featured a special appearance by Grammy Award-winning producer and radio host DJ Scratch. So we have a few of the winners to mention, some of the major categories. We'll have a complete list showing when we post the article on our YouTube version of the show. So Legendary Station of the Year, as we mentioned, WMMR-FM in Philly. Network Syndicated Personality of the Year is Colin Coward, Premier Radio Networks Incorporated, Los Angeles. Major Market Personality of the Year, Preston Elliott and Steve Morrison of WMMR Philly. Large Market Personality of the Year, Mitch Albom of WJR AM in Detroit. Medium Market Personality, Larry Hanskin, WHIO in Dayton, Ohio. That's an FM station. Small Market Personality of the Year, Mark Starling, WWNC AM in Asheville, North Carolina. Major Market Station of the Year, WMMR-FM Philly. Large Market Station of the Year, KDKA-FM in Pittsburgh. Medium Market Station of the Year, KRMG-FM in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Small Market Station of the Year, WTAW-AM in College Station, Texas. The College Radio Station of the Year, unfortunately not CKUT, but, we can always hope.
Yeah.
College Radio Station of the Year, WRHU-FM at Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. The News Talk Station of the Year, something that a lot of us can pick up on in the evenings on AM, WBAL in Baltimore on 1090 kilohertz, actually, if you want to check it out. Rock Station of the Year, WDRV-FM in Chicago, and Sports Station of the Year, WXYT-FM in Detroit, Michigan. So our congratulations to all of those award winners.
We have next, When Everything Else Fails, Radio Doesn't, a case for EU action. This is by Sibylle Vale, CEO of Radio France via European Broadcasting Union. Whether it's natural disasters, cyber attacks, or blackouts, radio has quietly proven itself as one of Europe's most resilient and trusted lifelines. Now is the time to recognize radio for what it is, a vital infrastructure that must be protected, supported, and embedded in Europe's future resilience strategy. In the blackout that hit Spain and Portugal on April the 28th, 2025, power grids, mobile networks, and the internet all failed. But the radio stayed on. Public service broadcasters kept their FM and DAB Plus signals live, powered by generators. Communities huddled around battery radios in homes, cars, cafes, metro stations, anywhere they could to understand what was going on. It was a clear demonstration of how broadcast infrastructure can serve millions when digital systems go dark. Since the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, radio has been a vital tool for millions, especially in occupied or contested regions, bringing trusted news and emergency alerts amid network blackouts. Radio is not only accessible, immediate, and portable, it is also the most trusted medium across Europe. In an era increasingly dominated by global tech platforms and algorithm-driven content, it provides a uniquely local and dependable voice, particularly in vehicles, where Europeans rely on it for news and information, both in times of crisis and in their everyday lives. Resilience is a key theme of the current European Commission's mandate. The aim is to ensure a better future for Europeans by anticipating challenging times, especially in areas of democracy, security, and defense. Enter the Digital Network Act, DNA, a proposed EU law that aims to simplify and speed up the rollout of digital infrastructure like broadband, 5G. While the DNA's goal to create a fully connected Europe is admirable, it risks overlooking one of Europe's most critical and life-saving communications tools, the broadcast radio. To ensure Europeans' access to radio, the DNA must support and protect access to broadcast services and radio as strategic assets. As the European Electronic Communications Code, the EECC, is to be reviewed under the DNA, it will be crucial to include clear commitments to safeguard citizens' access to radio in vehicles. Radio in cars isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. During disasters, it may be the only functioning channel for real-time, life-saving information. EU legislation should therefore guarantee that broadcast radio, both DAB+ and FM, is included in all new vehicles across the EU. This means not only preserving existing provisions, but also strengthening the legal framework by mandating the inclusion of a broadcast radio receiver in all new vehicles, including Category M passenger, L microcars, and N goods transport. The growing number of microcars sold without radio capability highlights the urgent need for robust legislation to ensure a universal access to radio in vehicles for all Europeans. The next crisis will not wait for legislation to catch up. Whether it's a cyber attack, a natural disaster, or a war zone, people need reliable tools to stay informed and connected. Radio has proven time and again that it meets that need unfailingly and affordably. It's immediate, portable, and accessible to all, whether in a city, rural village, or refugee camp. As the EU plans its digital future, it must also safeguard communication tools that don't go offline when it matters most. The DNA presents an opportunity to ensure that radio remains at the heart of resilient communication, especially in cars. The message to EU lawmakers is simple. If you want a connected Europe, you need a protected, prioritized, and promoted radio access in cars. This is about more than radio. It is about securing democratic access to national and local information, contributing to public safety across Europe. It is time for the DNA discussions to reflect that, because when disaster strikes, again, safeguarding radio won't just be smart, it will be essential. Indeed, and especially in Europe, where conflicts are not that far away, and you never know what could happen at any time. I mean, this is where radio gets very, very important, and it needs to be there and safeguarded.
It's interesting that it's the European Union stepping up here and bringing this to the forefront and probably trying to get the radio operators to focus on this and to start talking about it. I think up to now it's been within the industry that they're talking about, oh, well, we have all these other options available to us. Maybe it's not necessary to continue these standard AM, FM broadcasting and what have you. I think to see an independent body like the EU coming forward and pointing out all these specific problems that eliminating these radios can cause is really important. And I hope that the broadcasters themselves sit down and say, whoa, maybe we better take a look at this. And how does this tie right into our Tesla story as well? It's the exact opposite of what Tesla is doing. They want these radios back in those cars as well.
So what's happening with our sun? The days ahead, what's going to happen? First of all, most sunspots right now are stable, but that doesn't mean anything's going to change. Plus, we had a major solar flare on the far side of the sun. Something exploded, and it was a huge one of the biggest solar flare and fastest coronal mass ejections in a long time. If that would have been Earth directed, we would probably be a little worried. And so once again, we dodged a bullet probably as it happened on the far side with a sunspot that we think is the one that was still on our visible side just a week ago. Sunspot number 92, the solar flux is 130, and there is a coronal hole that might actually spew some solar wind that could disturb a little bit our propagation this week. Hopefully not too much. And, the only way that you can witness all of this is to turn on a radio and listen.
I'm Thomas Witherspoon of Asheville, North Carolina, and you're tuned to the International Radio Report, 30 minutes of news about radio on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
We move next to some international news, one regarding one of the major stations that's been hanging around on shortwave. We've seen so many stations disappear, but one that a lot of people tune into regularly is Radio Romania. And Radio Magazine, via Glenn Hauser's World of Radio, IO Group, has news regarding Radio Romania medium wave and shortwave. Following the reduction in Radio Romania's broadcasting hours, Radiocom, the broadcasting operator, canceled the procurement process that had been launched for the installation of new medium wave transmitter units, one 100 kilowatt transmitter and one 50 kilowatt transmitter. 5 years ago, the Romanian Broadcasting Corporation even ordered Radiocom to replace the faulty transmitters, failing which it would terminate the lease agreement between the radio station and the company that operates the transmitters. Radiocom was forced to invest in replacing 5 medium-wave transmitters. The new units were to be installed at the Rontau Transmitter Center near Oradea, between Cluj and the Hungarian border. A 100 kilowatt transmitter to replace the 200 kilowatt Harris on 909 kilohertz, and a second transmitter at Valu lui Traian near Constanta, near the Black Sea, with a 50 kilowatt transmitter. Furthermore, Radio Romania International is limited to the use of a single frequency instead of 2. DRM broadcasts will be subject to these restrictions. However, the transmitter used for broadcasting the second frequency will remain on standby to be activated in the event of a failure of the other transmitter. For technical reasons, this will require frequency changes, and Radiocom maintains frequency registrations with the HFCC. Radiocom was the largest European digital shortwave broadcaster in terms of broadcasting hours. So Radio Romania International has issued a new schedule effective October 21st, 2025. And it affects all of their international transmissions. I'm not going to go through all of them in great detail. We'll post all of the listings. Just for example, here in North America on the East Coast, you now have them from 01 to 02 UTC using 7325. And for the West Coast, from 04 to 05, they'll be using 7220 for North America's West Coast. And then later in the day, we have the North American East Coast, 2130 to 2200, also 7250 kilohertz. There are changes to Western Europe, to India, to Africa, and Japan as well. So we will post all of that updated schedule for you.
And we have some news of Radio Slovakia International that is in danger. This is via Wavescan and Jeff White, Radio Miami International. Radio Slovakia International has broadcast programs on shortwave since the founding of the Slovak Republic in 1993. It ended shortwave broadcasts from its own transmitters in Slovakia in 2011, but it has continued broadcasting on shortwave via WRMI in Florida and shortwave service in Germany to this day. However, Radio Slovakia International has sent us some alarming news. They say, "We are writing to you asking for a great favor. We ask for your support, a testament to the value of our broadcasts and our work. The existence of Radio Slovakia International is threatened. We attach an open letter signed by the entire RSI editorial team. We thank you in advance for your support. It appears that Radio Slovakia International could be shut down as soon as December 31st of this year. The team of Radio Slovakia International has written an open letter to Slovak radio management, and they are urging listeners around the world to send letters of support to the management in an effort to stop plans to dismantle the station and to encourage management to continue RSI's broadcasts. They are asking for your letters of support to be sent to 3 email addresses. So we'll, of course, post that. You could send one message to all 3 addresses, so you can just do one email, but send it to all 3 addresses. I will be doing this. We need to keep these stations on the air. And for those that always say, oh, well, they'll just go on the internet and stream. No, we're talking about Radio Slovakia International service completely down, meaning no more streaming either. Just tells you that, shortwave is important.
Yeah, this is really important. We've lost too many stations as it is, and this station has managed to stay on since they started, and by using relays. But this, as you said, could be the final death knell for them. So if you listen to them and you find their programming interesting and important, you need to send them off those emails. All right, we have a big week of radio coming up. If you're listening today, of course, the CQ Worldwide contest is coming towards an end at the end of Sunday.
Yep.
Hope you've been having fun with that. But there's lots more interesting stuff happening the rest of this week. It is the lead up to Halloween. And Halloween means that pirate radio operators come out of the woodwork. And given that there's so much pirate activity going on anytime now, morning, day, night, it doesn't seem to matter anymore. Lots of stations on the air, but Halloween is a special night. So I would be checking pretty much all week leading up to Friday and throughout Friday, and maybe even into the weekend after it. We never know for sure. So check all the pirate frequencies. Check the HF Underground website, which gives you reports of pirate activity just about in real time. So you can see what people are hearing, reporting, and then go and try and catch them yourself on the bands. So it's always a lot of fun to see who's out there, and hopefully some creative programming coming up from some of the Halloween pirates.
There's a quick reminder that something is happening. It's not actually advertised anywhere, and there's no frequencies or times given, but some people have been hearing it, and HARP has mentioned that, the HARP facility in Alaska is testing until October 29th, so it could be anywhere from about 2.7 megahertz all the way up to roughly 9.8 megahertz, that range. So if you see any carriers with sweeping signals of all sorts, that is HARP, and it has been reported on a few frequencies, including 9600 kilohertz, what I do to see their activities, go to the QESDR, the one that is in Fairbanks, Alaska, and I tune it and I look at the waterfall. And usually their harp has a very powerful signal. So if you see a line that's really, really powerful in the waterfall, that might be harp. Tune it, and then you can try it at home on your own receiver, see if you hear it. And we have some amateur radio DXpeditions and special events.
There's a really interesting station going to be coming on the air, and this is a DXCC classification that a lot of hams are looking for. X-Ray Foxtrot 4, which is Revillagigedo. It is an island off the west coast of Mexico. Mark XE1 Bravo will be returning to Revillagigedo off the west coast of Mexico for a short visit to meet the new base commander and set the conditions for an international team with remote capabilities for the future. Access to this base is severely restricted and only via a Navy battleship making supply runs from the Baja, Mexico area. The next Navy trip is scheduled for an October 23rd departure from Socorro and a return on the 30th of October. So this is all happening this week. That will allow Mark a 5-day window of operating. It's a 36-hour trip. Mark is a 3-time veteran of trips to this location, having activated X-Ray Foxtrot 4 in 1991, 2011, and 2018. He has a new license for this trip. The call sign will be released when he is there and active. He also has permission from the Navy and the other 2 regulatory agencies to visit the island and to operate from the island. So this is really exciting. This is, I had to look it up on a map to see where it was. It is a naval installation of Mexico, as it says, restricted access. So this will be a really neat one to add to your ham radio logs if you have an opportunity. So start checking this week, right up to the end of the week, and maybe you can pick up an interesting rare one on the bands.
We also have 5 Romeo, Madagascar, the Italian DXpedition team led by Silvano. Italy 2 Yankee Sierra Bravo announced a new activity from Madagascar during October 29th up to November 12th as 5 Romeo 8 Tango Tango, and it will be in CW, SSB, and RTTY, and as 5 Romeo 8 X-Ray X-Ray on FT8. A team of 8 Italian operators will be operating with 4 stations anywhere from 160 to 6 meters.
Staying in Africa, 9 Lima, which is Sierra Leone, a DXpedition as 9 Lima 8 Mike Delta is planned from October 30th to November the 10th. The team will have operators from the US, Germany, France, Ireland, Switzerland, Italy, Czech Republic, and Romania. And they will be active as 9 Lima 8 Mike Delta from 160 through 6 meters using CW, SSB, and RTTY.
And we have Burundi, members of the Russian DX team with Vasily, Romeo 7 Alpha Lima, as team leader, will be active as 9 Uniform 1 Romeo Uniform between October 29th and November 20th. Plan is to be active with 7 stations from 160 to 6 meters using high power. And we are out of time.
Thank you for tuning in to our show again today. We appreciate it. If you'd like to reach us, our email address is radioreport@yahoo.com. You can listen to our show live streamed and archived at ckut.ca. Our Facebook group, International Radio Report, has one new member this week. We welcome Alan in Toronto. We invite you to join the Facebook group. And our YouTube channel is where you can go and listen to our program anytime you like, including our new most recent edition, a special edition show that is there that did not air on CKUT. So you can check that out. And you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@IRR. That's it for this week. It looks like an exciting week for radio coming up, so enjoy it. Have a good time. Let us know what you've been hearing, and we'll be back with you again next Sunday with our next edition of the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.